When I look back at my life, it sometimes feels like I'm looking through an old photo album. The pictures tell a story. A little boy growing up in Scandinavia. A boy with dreams, curiosity, and a family he believed would always be there. Back then, life seemed simple. My father was a captain, a strong man, the kind of man a boy looks up to. I never imagined there would come a day when he would no longer be there. But life doesn't ask for permission before it changes everything. When I was 13 years old, I lost my father. In many ways, I think I spent the next 44 years trying to understand what that loss did to me. At the time, I didn't know how to grieve. I didn't know how to talk about pain. So I did what many men do. I buried it. I carried it with me. And I kept moving. From the outside, life continued. I grew older. I left home. I worked hard. I spent years at sea. I traveled to places I had only dreamed about as a child. I met many people. I experienced both success and failure. But no matter where I went, something always followed me. The ghosts. Not the kind you see in movies. The ghosts of regret. The ghosts of loss. The ghosts of questions that never received answers. For most of my life, I believed that a little love was better than no love at all. If I'm honest, I was afraid of being alone. So I stayed in relationships that were comfortable. Relationships that look fine from the outside. But deep down, I often knew they were not meant to last. The women were not bad people. The problem was not them. The problem was that I had never truly learned what love looked like. I was searching for something I couldn't describe. Years became decades. One chapter ended. Another began, then ended too. I kept telling myself that happiness would arrive someday, that somehow things would fall into place. But happiness doesn't always come looking for you. Sometimes you have to go looking for it yourself. As the years passed, a question slowly began growing inside me. How much do you really want happiness? Not comfort, not security, not routine, but happiness, real happiness. The kind that makes you wake up in the morning grateful to be alive. One day, I finally answered that question, and the answer scared me, because I knew it required a choice, a very big choice. I had to leave behind everything familiar. My country, my family, my friends, my old life. Everything I had known for decades. Most people thought I was crazy. Maybe they were right. After all, who leaves everything behind at 57 years old? Who starts over when most people are preparing to slow down? But I knew something they didn't know. I knew that staying where I was would slowly destroy me. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. So I took a leap of faith. I left Denmark. I crossed the world. And I came to Thailand. I wasn't running away. For the first time in my life, I was running towards something. Toward hope. Toward possibility. Toward the chance that life still had something beautiful waiting for me. And that was when everything changed. Because here, on the other side of the world, I met the woman who would become my wife. The love of my life. For the first time, there was no doubt, no pretending, no settling, no trying to convince myself that something was enough. This was different, this was real. And with that love came something I had spent my entire life searching for. peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from having no problems. Life will always bring challenges. The peace that comes from finally being where you belong. Today, I live a quiet life in Thailand. The pace is slower. The sunsets are beautiful. And I spend more time appreciating simple things. A morning coffee, a walk on the beach, the laughter of family, the sound of the ocean. The ghosts are still with me. They always will be. My father is still part of my story. The mistakes are still part of my story. The regrets are still part of my story. But I no longer spend my life running from them. I run with them. They walk beside me now instead of chasing me. And maybe that is one of the most important lessons I have learned. The goal is not to erase the past. The goal is to make peace with it. If I could speak to the younger version of myself today, I wouldn't criticize him. I wouldn't judge his mistakes. I wouldn't tell him he failed. I would simply place a hand on his shoulder and say, keep going, don't give up, don't settle because you're afraid. Don't stop believing that life can still surprise you. Because one day, after all the storms, all the losses, all the searching, you will find what you've been looking for. It took me 57 years, but I finally found it. I found love, I found happiness, I found peace, and the search is over.